stock that has options has weeklies. In fact, very few compared to the whole universe of the three. There's over 100 that have the week options. That's great. It just narrows our stock selection down. There's an 8-day a week. That was a Beatles song, but it's fascinating to think that new securities today are created on Thursday morning, and they flame out and die the following Friday. It's a beautiful thing. But one of the beautiful things is, I don't have time to go into now, the characteristics of options is all options have a time component to them, and there's time decay. And time decay happens on different lengths of options. A 6-month option has its time decay curve. A 1-month option has a different time decay curve. 8-day options have a very unique time decay curve. And in fact, if you were to condense down a very thick options book or books, you will find out that the two biggest times in an options life where time decay happens the fastest and the most is over the final weekend before their final week, and then over the Thursday and Friday of into its last day of existence. And guess what? The weekly option has 2 of these huge time declines built in. And that's important to us because I'm not talking, the money press is not about buying weekly options. It's about being positioned to be a seller of that premium, okay, and to have both of those time decay hits work for us in a very fantastic way. Again, jumping ahead, you can tell I get excited about all this. Okay. The other thing, this is huge. We could stop right here because this still keeps me up at night. Okay? You are able to double your rate of return with no added risk simply trading the weekly versus the monthly before. The reason why is if you look at a weekly premium when it comes out on Thursday morning, look at the 1-week premium, and if you happen to be where you can see a whole month's worth of premium, in your head, you add up the 1 weekly, and if you say, well, there's 4 weeks in a month, okay, if you're following me, if the 1-week premium is $5, and you say, wow, 5 times 4, that's $20 a premium. Well, if you go look up the 1-month premium, it'll be trading around 10, 10.50, maybe 9.80. But the point is, being a seller of weekly premiums doubles what you were able to do selling a 1-month premium. I cannot stress this enough. And why the no added risk? Well, if you have a 4-month, another option that's your insurance that's out there 4 months, that's still the same price. This 4-month price is still a 4-month price. But when you're able to sell the weeklies, magically what's happened now is you're doubling your premium in. You're doubling your return with no added risk. You can't even explain that to a finance professor out there. So let's talk about the money press, okay? What is this money press? Well, the term for it, it's essentially a calendar spread, okay? But using weeklies or selling weeklies instead of the monthly options, okay? This is key. Now, there's huge edges and ways to exploit stocks because of this 80-20. That 80% of the action is controlled and done by institutions, how they buy and sell. Okay? And by the way, with the institutions throwing money around, does that create volatility? Well, guess what? Volatility translates in the option market as more expensive option premiums. So we're able to sell more plumpy premiums because of the institutions. And there's some other edges that I've learned to exploit because of this 80-20. I want to stop right there. Okay? I want this to be crystal clear. It does not matter how many of yous and me's trade these weeklies, because the market's been taken over by this institutional trading volume. Okay? In an 80-20 world, it spells amazing cash flow and dream incomes for us 20%ers if you know what you're doing. Isn't that exciting? No matter how many me's and yous on here today, it doesn't matter how many of us do it. We're dwarfed, and that's the reality. And the 80 cannot trade like us, but their action, their behavior, the tracks that they make create opportunities for us. And it doesn't matter how many of us do it. Now look at this. The figure on the left, the big oil tanker coming at us, that's institutional trading, okay? Those are the waves they're pushing around, okay? And if you just do a mental picture, and if we as individuals on the right here are profiting off of the waves that these institutions, and I'm talking about waves that they make as well, they're buying and selling, but also the premiums that get jacked up because of the option premiums, the volatility and all that stuff. If that's us profiting off of that wave, just do this mental thing. How long would it take that oil tanker to steer around to the right or the left, or the port or the starboard, pardon me for you sailors out there, to be able to profit off of their own activity, off of their own waves? They can't do it. They are who they are, and we are who we are. It's kind of a beautiful thing in nature, in my opinion. They can't do what we can do. and we can't do what they can do, but I don't want to do what they can do. Okay, that means meetings. Okay, so very, very interesting time in the world that we live in. So let's dive in. I need to take another drink. Stocks and money press continued here. It's a game changer. There's game changer edges when exploiting stocks like Priceline, like LinkedIn, like Netflix. Why? Because think about this. There are 12 weeks of paycheck opportunities in between the earnings announcement, for example. You know, before, if you were going to do a calendar spread, you got to go out there like 9 months, you know, and buy your protection, just so every month you can turn around and try to sell these monthly premiums. Well, the monthly premiums were what they were. Today, there's double the premium doing the weekly way, like I talked about. And the other thing in the old-fashioned way is, hey, every 3 months, there's something called an earnings announcement, and it's a joker. And it's few and rare between that you want to hold over a stock over the earnings announcement. No one knows has any idea how it's going to react. But we can step right in and do 12 paycheck periods in between earnings. Try to get that through your noggin. That's amazing. There's sleep at night protection built right in, because a money press is comprised of two. There's a protection, okay? I'm going to show you this in detail in just a minute. There's no excessive or impossible margin requirement. Sometimes there's cool things you do with options, but you turn around and say, oh, wow, I can make $2,500. Oh, but I've got to set aside $200,000 to do that. Some crazy figure. There's no excessive or next to impossible margin requirements. There's no complicated option levels to get approved for. The time commitment fits your lifestyle. We're not talking about being glued to 6 monitors all day long and reading all kinds of stuff around the complex world. You can really accomplish this in 20 to 30 minutes at a time, several times a week. That can be a reality. Now, sometimes I get all hot and bothered, and I tend to get sucked in. Okay, that's me. I don't know if that's you, but I've had to learn to shut off screens, you know, read the books that I want to read, and then not get sucked in. There is a challenge there. Okay, listen to this. The 6 and 7 and 8 and $900 stocks are all within reach, even with a small account. These are the market's most interesting, dynamic, and admired stocks. They're all in your universe. It gives you the ability to tap into the busy, complex world out there where everyone's going to work, you know, providing earnings for all these companies, but you're going to do it in a very low-key and a low-stress way, in an effective way, I might add. It's built for the 80-20 reality. It's built for the low interest rate and volatile climate. It's built for those 3 circumstances. Horace would be proud of us. And it removes you out of the equation. And this is a very valuable thing, by the way. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. What else is a money press? It can make you so damn much money that you can do stupid stuff for months and still be way ahead. I just showed you from the first proof video that I sent you at a $98,000 account. It's a $103,000 account. In my math, that's a 4 to 5% gain, and we're not even the end of the week yet. So I'm showing you this in real life, black and white. Might be the mob would be jealous of these kinds of returns. Okay? And that's what I want you to think about. If you get the money press going and rolling and rocking as your cash flows, your income, hey, I'll tell you what I've been getting into in the last couple of years. I'm into paintings. I love paintings, original paintings. I'm learning about the different schools of paintings, and I love how beautiful they are. They can sit on your wall and gain value. Isn't that just awesome? I really enjoy it. And I'm paying for those out of these money press profits. I don't know what gets your goat, but you might have some things that you don't want to admit to anyone you need the money for. I don't know. But maybe you like trading the old way that you used to do, and you always lose money at it. So you can make money with your money press and go lose it trading the normal way, the other way you used to. I don't know. So don't worry if this sounds new and different, because guess what? It is. It's been possible since the spring of 2010. That's it. No one's heard about this. And you'll never, ever be able to explain it to your neighbors. So don't even try. Don't even go there. So why does the money press work? Well, it has 2 parts to it, okay? There's 2 option trades to the money press. One is you're going to buy option protection, and you're going to do that in bulk, like 3 to 6 months away. Anytime you buy anything in bulk, it's cheap. If you don't believe me, and when you sell the weekly option premiums, they are the pricey and expensive ones. So here's the visual to get this through our heads. On the left, now who among us hasn't felt like this character on the left? She's got a 5-gallon tub of Baskin-Robbins ice cream. Okay, that's how Baskin-Robbins stays in business. They buy their ice cream in bulk, they ship it in, and then you come in all starving on a hot summer day, and if you want a single, you get the single, but if you added up what that single scoop was, I mean, how many single scoops fit the 5 gallon? I'm sure you can Google that. But if they sell you the single for $2.20, and there's 100 singles in a 5-gallon tub, I mean, that's $220 of ice cream, but the tub probably costs $32 or whatever. So there's a margin there. It's the same thing with option pricing. If you buy your options out there in full, you pay way less. If you add it up, in fact, what the weekly premiums were out to 6 months, goodness gracious. Wow, 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 wow. The 6-month option, purchasing in bulk is way cheap. So I want you to get that visual. So why else does it work? Well, I use the prevailing market cycle for an edge. The market's always cycling. I also use good old price action and volume. I use the crowd reaction to earnings. I old companies, and these young companies that are really doing good things to cover some ground. I found out how new / exciting the industry is. I look at I have a thing called sunrise bias, killer edge, to choose which stocks at what time. Really can boil down. That's why I'm showing you the returns I'm showing you, because I'm kind of good at this, and I just do this. This is what I do. Holy, I don't do these presentations. No, let me just finish it. So earnings revisions, crowd reaction to analyst day events, and with all this said, with the money press, your timing can still partly suck, and doesn't have to be impeccable all the time, because with the amount of premiums you're capturing week to week, it can sure make some lemons turn into lemonade, or it can make a bad week turn into a great week just 2 weeks into it. I mean, you have a lot of fudge room, okay, to do these. But you still, because you have a finite amount of capital, you still have to decide why a stock and why now. Now listen to this. There's confined risk with any money press. It's the difference actually between the option that you're selling and the insurance that you have. But the game changer is the 2 times the premium from the normal monthly option premiums. Plus, knowing which stocks you choose and when, around events, etc., is killer. And I just want to say this, and I'm not talking about Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm just saying this. If I wanted to completely switch gears and all I wanted to do is open my own diner or my own restaurant, who would have more risk? Me doing that for the first time and maybe reading some books about how to open a restaurant, or someone who's opened 5 restaurants. Okay, the person that's done it 5 times has less risk. I don't care. Okay? They have less risk than me. If I wanted to draw up a commercial lease and lease commercial space, and do that for the first time because I have this dream and I want to do it, am I going to have? What's the risk going to be? Me or the guy down the street, a neighbor of mine who's super smart, who's done it for 15 years and his name's on all these lease boards all over town? He's going to sail through it versus me. I'm going to have swear words and everything. His risk is less, mine is more. So risk comes down to, as well, your intuition, your experience, and your knowledge. Okay? I have less risk doing these money presses because I do them. That's what I do. Okay? You might have a little more risk doing them, but you can follow someone like me. So I think that's a very important point. And it doesn't matter how many of us do it. Okay, I want to show you an example. I want to just take this screenshot off over here. Those happen to be my homies, my daughter right there. But I want to show an example here on Michael Kors. Now, again, I'm not saying, hey, this is a trade right now, whatever. But this is a stock. How do I know they have weeklies? Remember, I do this stuff. This is what I do. Okay, so Michael Kors happens to be a newer company, publicly traded company. They've done real good out the gate. Would anyone deny that? They just recently came out with earnings, broke out. They corrected a little bit. There's great little telltale things here on the setup. It's just awesome to see. And I just want to show you what a money press looks like. Okay, so if I look up chain, that just means option chain. I come over here and August week 4, right up here. Now your broker might show that differently, but anytime you see week and a number, that means there's weekly options on it. There's other cool ways to find out what has weeklies. Well, Michael Kors is really cool because, like some other ones out there, but it's got 50-cent increments. Look at the choices they're giving you to sell your paycheck. And we're on Tuesday. The at-the-money options, actually slightly out-of-the-money options right here, are trading for 80 cents. I'm just going to show you what an order looks like. If I click trade, I'm going to give you the little nuts and bolts. So sell to open, this would be this week's, August week 4. It's got a beautiful ring to it, doesn't it? August week 4, it really does. And I can put it right here, like November. That would be my protection. So if you decide the quantity, And this is an order. This is how you dial it up. You'd be selling to open, and both of them are puts. Both of them are the same. They're not calls. And this is a little tricky. If you're first, wait a minute, doesn't put mean you think it's going down? No. If you're selling a put this way and doing a money press this way, you are basically flat to bullish. On the outlook. And even if it gives you lemons with these money presses, you can turn around and make some lemonade out of them. But again, we're not just doing this on any old stock at any old time. There's a reason behind the season of doing this. But this is what it looks like. Okay, look how cool we can laser do this strike price. You know, that usually doesn't exist. We can go right at the money, basically. And that gives you your biggest bang for the buck. So there's Michael Kors. Kind of cool. All right, let me bring this over and we'll an example here on Michael Kors. Now, again, I'm not saying, hey, this is a trade right now, whatever, but this is a stock. How do I know they have weeklies? Remember, I do this stuff. That's what I do. Okay, so Michael Kors happens to be a newer company, publicly traded company. They've done real good out the gate. Would anyone deny that? They just recently came out with earnings, broke out. They corrected a little bit. There's great little telltale things here on the setup. It's just awesome to see. And I just want to show you what a money press looks like. Okay, so I look up chain. That just means option chain. I come over here and August week 4, right up here. Now your broker might show that differently, but anytime you see a week and a number, that means there's weekly options on it. And there's other cool ways to find out what has weeklies. But Michael Kors is really cool because, like some other ones out there, but it's got 50-cent increments. Look at the choices they're giving you to sell your paycheck. And we're on Tuesday. The at-the-money options, actually slightly out-of-the-money options right here, are trading for 80 cents. And I'm just going to show you what an order looks like. If I click trade, I'm going to give you the little nuts and bolts. So sell to open, this would be this week's, August week 4. It's got a beautiful ring to it, doesn't it? August week 4, it really does. And I can put it right here, like November. That would be my protection. So if you decide the quantity, and this is an order. This is how you dial it up. You'd be selling to open, and both of them are puts. Both of them are the same. They're not calls. And this is a little tricky. If you're first, wait a minute, doesn't put mean you think it's going down? No. If you're selling a put this way and doing a money press this way, you are basically flat to bullish on the outlook. And even if it gives you lemons with these money presses, you can turn around and make some lemonade out of them. But again, we're not just doing this on any old stock at any old time. There's a reason behind the season of doing this. But this is what it looks like. Okay, look how cool we can laser do this strike price. You know, that usually doesn't exist. We can go right at the money, basically. And that gives you your biggest bang for the buck. So there's Michael Kors. Kind of cool. All right, let me bring this over and we'll dive back in. Where are we at? So the money press trade makes money with flat to upside action, can be adjusted and turned from lemons into lemonade. The initial trade is 2 trades. You're selling a weekly put and you're buying a longer term put. Okay, the risk or margin requirement is the difference between the strike prices times the number of contracts. Okay, I want to just detail to you what I've learned since I started trading weeklies. Not to toot my own horn, but I have to be one of the first homies pulling up at night, racing around the house, and just experimenting like crazy when the weeklies came out. And I've learned a lot of things. Okay, there's a lot of things that used to be really cool to do that I don't find myself doing that much more because I've just evolved into what I'm doing now. And it's what makes, in my opinion, this information so valuable. It's not just getting on here and saying, oh, hey, weekly options are cool. They expire every week. You should learn about them. I mean, there's just some really killer detailed things to take advantage of right now to exploit. So what I've learned is going bigger into fewer names is better. Okay. Again, think of Warren Buffett. He's not in 350 stocks because he very well could with all the billions he has to spread around. He's in a handful of stocks. That's what I found. The larger the stock price, the better. MasterCard's over $600 for a reason. Okay, the larger the stock price, the better. I also avoid money presses on commodity-related stocks, like oil, gold, fertilizer/crop companies come to mind. Also, I haven't done as well with ETFs, surprisingly. Surprise, surprise. I'll still trade them time to time, But any stock that has a commodity that's traded itself underneath, it really loses a lot of edges for me and how I like to operate. I focus mostly on the money press because it gives me maximum money and minimum time. There's some other cool stuff I'm doing right now, believe me. And when I look at it, the money press profits fuel the other capital that I do for other trading. I mean, how cool is that? And this is really important. What I've learned, the less you're around with all your thoughts and your feelings and your opinions and your moods, the better. And in a crazy weird way, the money press limits you from being the problem. Now, I want to give you some money press warnings, okay? Thursday and Friday, if they're not already your favorite days of the week, are going to become your absolute favorite days of the week, Thursday and Friday. I'm also going to say, when you get this rocking, if you decide to do this from home, you'll become very visible in your home. And if you start acting too happy, you'll probably find yourself running a lot of extra errands that you wouldn't have to run, just because our spouses, they don't like to see you too happy. So they wonder what you're doing and all this. And they also maybe make you wait around, for the cable guy. Hey, we'll be there between the hours of 10 and 4. You might be that next volunteer. Just a word to the wise, freedom's the goal, but you might have to get creative in how you enjoy your freedom. There's times too where a couple weeks in the market will happen and you're just like, holy crap, the market's being tossed to and fro, nothing makes sense. Well, you know what? Big deal. You got your protection underneath, and that's your cue to go out and throw a frisbee, to barbecue some more, or finish that big thick book that you keep starting. Just go do something else. You don't have to be plugged in and biting your fingernails at every last thing that the market does. And I want to make another comment before we move on, and that is this. In case you're not aware, the middle class out there is getting squeezed like at no other time. There's more people in the food stamp applications. There's more people on welfare than ever, just compared to our lifetimes, let's say, or 20 years, or whatever we're used to. Okay, there's more people on welfare, more people getting food stamps, more people who can't qualify for traditional loans. But on the other end of the spectrum, there's the longest waiting times for your private jet. The most expensive alcohol is flowing like at no time before. In case you're not aware of this, big corporations and wealthy people, they're donating more money than ever before. So the point is, there's a haves and a lot more have-nots, and that means the middle class is getting squeezed. And one reason you can see this is Google at almost $900, Priceline at $900. These are the elite. These are the wealthy trading these stocks. These are hedge funds. Not that they don't deserve to be there. I'm just saying that this world has moved to the extremes that it has. And these weeklies allow you to go in that flow up there, where supposedly just the elites are moving their money back and forth. And again, it does not matter how many of yous and me's are. That's the beauty of this.
Well, that about covers the money press method. I sincerely hope you go forth and prosper with what you just learned. But before you do, I also want to share with you how to double, triple, or even quadruple the profits you make with your money press and grow your account as quickly as possible, right here and right now. It's true that the money press is very powerful, and it's currently the strategy I'm using about 70% of the time in today's market. But the other 30% of my trades make for some massive windfalls, and I figured I would be doing you a terrible disservice if I didn't let you in on them. The fact is, there are 5 other strategies I use that are equally as effective as the money press, depending on the current market environment. Now, you can take what you've learned from the money press training in this guidebook, and you can even go out there and make money with it starting tomorrow morning if you want to. In fact, I hope you do, because the money press really kicks ass and works like gangbusters, and I want you to prove it to yourself. But if you're serious and want to multiply your profit-producing arsenal by a factor of 5 and be able to adapt to any market condition, you're going to really like what I have to share with you next. The first of the 5 trading strategies I use is called the Crowbar. Now, at any given time, there's only a couple stocks that qualify as crowbars. The crowbar is designed for unlimited upside gains. It's the leverage of the crowbar that gets you right in there to enjoy the treasure. Very few stocks qualify for this, but it's uncanny how things work out over and over again. And if the stock has weekly options available on it, you can enhance your gains along the way. Just using a small percentage of your account for crowbars can really help magnify your returns. The second strategy is what I call pinning. Around 80% of the market's trading volume is pushed around by the institutional-sized investors. They create unique trading opportunities every single Friday, especially on the bigger stocks, and especially later in the trading day as they start settling close to a strike price. And the opportunity here is there's still a lot of premium left, even with an hour or two left before expiration. And with pinning, I teach you how to go in and capture this premium and put it in your pocket. Now, this can result in 30 to 40% gains in the money invested in just an hour or two. It is hard to beat the rate of return on a penny trade on Fridays, and it is downright exciting. The third strategy is what I call the tiptoe burglar. It helps you capture maximum gains for the current week and to get next week's windfall started. If you're able to put away an extra $500 or an extra $1,000 or an extra $1,500 each week on top of what you're already doing, and when you multiply that by 52 Fridays in a year, it starts to be very significant. This is just a little trick that once you learn it, you'll wonder how you ever did without it. The fourth strategy is something I call the couch slouch. This takes advantage of a unique feature in all options that are getting ready to expire. It takes place overnight between the last Thursday and Friday that an option has life. And of course, with weekly options, this is now a reality every Thursday and Friday. The fifth strategy is what I call the sunrise demise. Now, what I love about the sunrise demise is it hardly matters what kind of market we have on our hands. There are always sunrise demise opportunities. In fact, they work best when the market is at its worst. The same kind of returns I've shown you with my money press is the same kind of returns you can get with the sunrise demise. And the greatest benefit is you can do this no matter what the overall market is doing. Now, each of the 5 strategies are equally as powerful and equally as effective as the money press. The only difference is in when you'll use them, and all that will depend on the current stock market environment. Now, at this point, you may be asking, how do I get started making money with all this? As you can probably tell, I'm on a mission of sorts, a mission to rescue traders one at a time before it's too late, to sound the warning bell about the current state of things, the rigged market, and how it's a different playing field out there, and how it's time to embrace this new reality and thrive because of it. I've shown you video proof of how crazy well this works in today's market. In this guidebook, I've revealed the incredible money press method and how it can kick out gains of 2 to 5% per week. I've showed you each step of the way with trade examples, the pitfalls to avoid, the lessons learned, etc. So at this point, you really have 2 choices. One, you can decide to do this all by yourself. Now, there will be a learning curve to get through, including some new jargon and some other things. And in addition, you'll have to decide on which stocks to get involved with and when. But if you're somewhat familiar with options and have a little experience and comfort level, you can begin to use the information you've already learned to get started by yourself. Or 2, instead, you can join me alongside a growing number of weekly option windfall insiders and leapfrog over many months of trial and error. The insiders get to look over my shoulder at all of my live trades in both my personal and business trading accounts. They get to meet up with me each and every Friday on a live trading interactive webinar. They also get to hop right into the driver's seat with insiders-only access to over 35 in-depth training videos, including the 5 other weekly option methods I just mentioned. There's also a 24/7 forum and a place to look in on my trading journal that's updated with all my current positions. This has been my pride and joy, and it's taken several years to implement, all with the wonderful ideas the insiders have requested. I'm also proud to report that nearly every single amazing success story I hear comes from a WOW insider. Truly, what's more valuable than gold itself is learning and applying the right information at the right time. There is no limit to what you can accomplish. So let me just go over all the complete details of what you get as a weekly option windfall, or WOW insider. Now, this is taken from feedback from real people just like you, and it's been designed from the ground up. The first thing is you want to be able to learn each strategy and method on your own time and convenience. And so what we've done is put together over 35 training videos that have ongoing edits to them so they never get stale or outdated. You also want to get real-time email updates on each trade I do in my personal and business trading accounts. You want to see how this kind of trading unfolds and how the money gets made. Plus, you want the ability to check in on my trading journal at any point in time and see the complete rundown of each position I'm in. You also want to be able to hang out on Fridays, which will be your new favorite day of the week, by the way, via a real-time webinar. You want to see live trades being made, be able to ask questions, share compelling ideas you may have discovered with the group, all in a power-packed hour. And you also want a 24/7 forum where you can get your questions answered, where you can share ideas and get the help you need. And also, once you get some experience under your belt, it may be you who's the one offering help and assistance to a newbie. After all, you can't talk about any of this stuff with the neighbors. So given the unique circumstances of the market today, it's the only service of its kind, period, bar none. It's the exact kind of service I wish I'd had when I first started dealing and trading with weekly options. And not to toot my own horn, but you really have to be careful to who you follow and listen to out there these days. I've been an active trader for over 23 years. Here's what one of the most respected option authorities, Dr. J. Najarian, recently said about me and my WOW methods. John said, Preston, aka the Pirate, is a guy you can trust. I've known Preston for over a decade now, and he's one of the sharpest option traders around. He's constantly creating opportunities. He is also one of the best I've seen at exploiting those opportunities. I've met hundreds of folks face to face that subscribe to his services, and I can honestly say that his subscribers speak extremely highly of him and the results they've gotten using his systems. And here's a sampling of just what a few WOW insiders have to say. Now ask 71-year-old Dorothy from Hackensack, New Jersey, if her WOW Insider membership has paid off. Dorothy said, Friday's WOW webinar was awesome. Did you by any chance tape it? It moves so fast, I can't even read some of my notes. Everything moves along quickly, but I did jump in and do 4 trades with a $3,840 gain. I am so excited about this program, I can't thank you enough. I'm 72 in January and still working full-time because we can't afford to retire. My husband is 74 and still working also. We figured we'd have to work until 80 and then hopefully retire. I'm now looking forward to retiring in 1 year, since even though I'm retired, I can still be at home making trades. Then I can also teach this to my 3 children so they don't have to struggle either. You are the answer to my prayers. Thank you and God bless. Warmest regards, Dorothy. And how about this email from fellow weekly windfaller Ricardo Trujillo from California? Ricardo said, trading your way simply kicks ass. I have been able to log net gains after commissions of about $56,000 in all my accounts combined. If I do the math right, that's more than double what I started with. This is only doing money press trades, along with some of the one-shot trades, like buying plain calls from your WOW website. You're simply a genius and a great person. I would love to meet you in person one of these days. And here's another one from John Sundstrom from Maryland. I just wanted to send along a note to Preston that his advice and counsel is outstanding. I started my account with 50 grand the last week of August, but over the next 2 weeks, I sold out of everything in my other brokerage account and put a total of $110,000 into my trading account. So from early September up until now, I have increased my account by $45,000. I am continuing to grow the number of money presses that I have, and soon I will need to start taking some income out of the account. But I just wanted to convey to the group of followers that the webinars and the lessons that Preston gives are terrific. And there are many, many more of these. So if all of this sounds like a dream come true to get started on the right foot making money, that's exactly what my weekly option windfall, the WOW, insiders enjoy. How do I know? Well, according to the industry average, the typical investor subscribes to an advisory service for only 3 months. However, the average length of time for a WOW insider is over 14 months. The WOW Insider Service is exactly what I wish I'd had when I first started diving into weekly options. Now you might be thinking this is going to cost an arm and a leg. After all, you've seen some mind-numbing results in one of my real brokerage accounts. Plus you've seen the success other people just like you are having with it. You also know there's other services that charge up to $5,000 per year, mostly for their opinions on gold and oil and predictions on the market, then a few dozen lousy stock picks. Yuck. On the other hand, WOW Insider Access is easily worth twice that amount. Why? Because A, I've seen people make hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars with my information, meaning it actually works. And B, there's nothing else out there as cutting edge, not even close, that spells out where the true opportunities are in today's market. But this won't cost anywhere near $10,000 a year, not even $5,000. In fact, not even half of that. And I know if you stuck with me this far, you are most likely qualified and stand to benefit immensely by becoming an insider. So I wanted to make this possible for everyone who's ready to get going, which is why for a limited time, I've decided to offer access as a WOW Insider, which right now includes everything I've mentioned just a few minutes ago, all for only $97 per month. I've charged much more than this for just the access to see my personal trades, which means at any time I can change my mind and increase the cost. However, when you join in and become an insider, my promise to you is I'll lock in this low $97 per month rate for as long as you like. There's no fine print and you can cancel at any time. I'm super passionate about what I can teach you, but you have the ultimate decision as judge and the jury. So now that I've told you all about my WOW Insider service and how it can have a substantial impact on your trading future, here's how to get started. For the fastest and easiest way, go to my 100% safe and sound totally secure order page at insidermembership.com. That's www.insidermembership.com. That website is the fastest way to start the insider service, which means getting instant access to the WOW training library, the daily email updates, which contain my real-time trades, and the live Friday webinars. Or if you're more comfortable, feel free to call my office at 801-733-4190, and my friendly assistant will help you get started. That number again is 801-733-4190. My Trader's Edge staff has been with me for nearly 10 years now, and they are extremely friendly and will be happy to take care of you and answer any of your questions. Don't miss out on this. You won't regret it. Well, that about does it. I believe I've told you everything you need to know about the WOW Insider membership and how to get started. Remember, this price and what's offered can change at any time, so you don't want to miss out on this one-time offer. Go over to insidermembership.com or give us a call at 801-733-4190. You won't regret it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the inside. Take care. The money press method: how to generate consistent income using weekly options no matter what the market does. Starting today, you can double your income or your rate of return with no additional risk. Only deal with the world's top stocks. Start with a small account size. Sleep like a baby at night. Not have hefty margin requirements. Only operate with basic level option approval, meaning anyone can do it. Spend only 20 to 30 minutes per week on trading. Do this while traveling or from almost any location in the world. Trade as much or little as you want. Use the income as you want. I'm excited to spend. Do this bonus video for you, and I think it's going to be very eye-opening. It really is amazing, all the options that options give you, for lack of a better way to explain that. I'm going to cover how to do money press trades even if your account size is $10,000 or less. And you've no doubt seen the proof and some more in-depth information on money presses, and you might be looking at some of the examples or thinking of, God, can I do this on Apple? That's only for the people with big accounts, $500 stock, or all those I can't do. I've got to do these smaller name stocks, and how do I get started doing that? Well, the good news is, even with a small account, pretty much every stock is open for you to do. And the other really cool thing is the fact that options commissions over the years have come down to just bargain basement levels. It's at the time I'm recording this, weekly options have only been around for about 4 years. But they've been around in very low commission environments. It was about 10 or 15 years ago that option commissions were $30, $40, $50. 20 years ago, option commissions were $100 if the brokerage firm even let you do them at all. So competition, the internet, has really provided some amazing pricing breakdowns for us, the retail investor. And so lots of things have combined to make this really, really cool. And so what I want to show you is how you actually would do this and how I would put a $10,000 account to work. Let's just do a very, very basic walkthrough that options, they trade in contracts. And there's not partial contracts, and so you at least have to do one. And of course that goes up to however many that you want to do. But if you're trading one contract, whether you're buying or selling, whatever, one option contract represents 100 shares of the underlying stock. So you'll see option contracts. Let's say you see an option quote of a particular call or a put option, whatever the strike price or month is. And let's say you see the quote and it says it's 6 by $6.20. Okay. Remember, options originate from the Chicago area, where everyone talks fast, and so that means they want the quotes off fast, and they don't want it to be really long. They don't want to say a lot of syllables in the words. So if an option contract trades 6 by 620, if you were going to be a buyer of that option, of course, this would be the price. They're willing to sell the option to you, and you might do a limit order to try to get that at like 615. Okay, but again, it's trading at least what you have to do, at least one contract. So if you were to buy or sell, by the way, but let's just say if you were to buy one option contract at $6.15, the actual value of that is $615. That's the actual money you'd need in your account to buy that off, plus the little small commission, what, $7, $8, $9 or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It's low. Okay, you're trading these at a great time. But so in all actuality, this quote, the option quote, should be $600 by $620, but it's too wordy. Okay, so you just have to know that if you buy one contract, it really represents 100 shares, okay, behind the scenes there, and it really costs $615. Okay, now with that little primer out of the way, let's look at Apple. Here's a recent quote here of Apple. You can see at the time I'm doing this, Apple's about $530 a share. And this is cboe.com. You can see the calls over here and the puts. And I want to just show you a quote here. Let's look at the 530 puts. For some reason, they've got two of them listed here, but this is a pretty comprehensive site. The correct quote right here, the February 14, 530 put would be right here, because that one's the one that has all the volume and the open interest. But the current quote here, last sale net, the bid ask right here is 490 by 515. Okay, so that's a near the money put quote for the coming week on Apple. I know it kind of looks intimidating, all this right here, but coming back to the basics of the money press, this is very important. I want you to see this. And that quote again is 490 by 515. Let's go back to our blank page. So we have Apple, and it's near, what was it, like 529? Okay, and so we just saw a quote, and I'm going to draw up just kind of a rudimentary money press right here, a money press on Apple, what that could look like. So it involves two options, and we'll remember our $10,000 figure. Okay, now don't get intimidated. Here's this stock at 529. I mean, if you were just going to buy some Apple, the old-fashioned way, no margin, and you had to do this, go with the stocks. I mean, you could barely get about 18 or 19 shares with Apple priced at 529 with your $10,000. I'd much rather do it how I'm going to lay out for you right here. So a money press involves two options at once. Okay, it involves selling weekly options, and then buying, let's say buy 3 to 6 month options. Okay, this is what it entails. And the money press, we're working on the put side, so both of these are going to be a put. But here's the important thing. We just saw that with Apple at 529, I want you to follow this, that if we sold, let's just do the one contract. If we sold one weekly 530 put, we saw that that was 490 by 515. Let's round that off to 5. Okay, if we sold one of those, and to do that we'd have to simultaneously buy one, and let's call this a 3-month out, and wherever you are in time, just add 3 months out from where you are right now. So you buy one 3-month out, and let's say the 5 10 put is what you go with. Remember, we're doing one contract. This is prohibitive to do. I'll just reiterate that 15, 20 years ago, the commissions just really, really blew you out of the water. And that's what's so exciting about today is just how doable this is with a small account. Let's talk about Apple. Okay. And let's say these 3-month out, 5, 10 puts, these are out of the money, but they've got time out there. Let's say they go for, $11. That's probably going to be right around where they are. Just depends on the time, how much volatility out there in the world, and all this kind of stuff. But this is what I want to demonstrate to you. Again, the $10,000 account. If you were to do this trade right here, okay, you need to look at this strike price and this strike price, and you need to look at the difference between the two. Okay, not so much these right here, but what you can do and what the broker judges what you can do with $10,000 is the difference between these two strike prices, because basically this is the risk differential in this trade. And how we do this with the number of contracts, remember those equal 100 shares. Okay, that's what represents 100 shares behind that. So with one contract, I'm used to doing these with 10, the easy math there. The easy math on 10, the difference between that and that is $20,000. Okay, so with one contract, that's $2,000. So basically, to do this trade, it would tie up $2,000 of your 10K. And you would bring in this figure. I mean, basically what you'd be doing is this is money that you would spend. So this would be money out. Okay. Then you'd bring this in as a credit, over 3 months of time. I mean, again, what we're going for in a money press is what we're going to do week after week after week is collect what we can here of this weekly while we have that position protected. Basically, you have to buy this one in order so you can sell that one. They have to be done together. But what I want you to realize here is even with a $530 stock, one of the most dynamic, opinionated, one-of-a-kind companies out there, that's worth nearly $500 billion in size, where, the hedge funds and the big muscly money out there is moving these shares around. You can come up to the big leagues and do this perfectly legally. You don't even have to have that much of an option approval. I'm not going to talk about that in this video right here. What's important to realize is what you could do potentially with 10,000, which meaning if you did two contracts. Let's see, one a contract to one. No, that's not a minus. It's just one contract to one and one contract to the other. A one contract spread would take $2,000. A 2 contract spread, 2 of each, that would be easy, right? $4,000. You could do 3 of each, and that would be $6,000. Now 3 of each, now that's $1,500 coming in, right? You're spending $3,000 something here, and then you're bringing in $1,500. That could potentially be per week. Now think about that. On $6,000 to bring in $1,500 per week. Now there's gyrations, and as you get some experience under your belt with these, hey, you're going to have some good weeks. Other weeks you're going to have to roll out and adjust out, but you're protected the whole time, and it's just really becomes downright exciting. Okay, you could potentially with $10,000. Here's what I would do realistically. I would do like a and I can't say, hey, go do Apple. I'm not implying this is an investment to go do right now. This is for educational and informational purposes. But if it were me and I had a $10,000 account, I would consider doing like a 2 contract position with an Apple, as it's kind of laid out right here. So that would be $4,000, right? That would hog up 4K of my 10. And I would consider being involved in 2 or 3 positions. And I'm not saying that all of them you do with the size of an Apple. Perhaps another one is a $400 or $500 stock. Netflix comes to mind. It's in the $400. You could do one or two contracts of that, and maybe there's a $90 or $100 stock that you do three contracts on. But what I would look to do is not max this 10K unless you could bring in some other money just immediately. Okay. But if you just had the 10K, I would take it up. I'd take the margin up to about 8K of that and do 2 to 3 positions. And one position, again, could be this Apple one right here with 2 contracts. Maybe position number 2, you've got like a $500 stock, $500 or $600 stock. I'm not saying it has to be there, but if it was and you decided to do one contract there, that could be very viable. For your third position, maybe there's an $80 or $90 stock that you can do 3 or 4 contracts on. Okay, but again, having the available margin that you have, or the available account, take it up to about 80% of what you could possibly do, and then leave the rest there as cushion. Okay, that is how you can get started on a small account. And boy, 10,000 or less, I mean, you're in business. Show me a sandwich shop or a Buffalo Wild Wing franchise or any kind of thing you want to get involved with, and you're spending $5,000 on your application and just getting some affairs in order. It's nothing. I mean, they're going to want to 6 figures and a track record to show what kind of great person you are. This is very, very doable. This is very exciting, and again, the most exciting thing to me, if we were going to list them all out, is number one, that you can get started with such a small amount, relatively speaking. I mean, you got to be kidding me. 2, that commissions are no longer the obstacle and the hurdle that they used to be. Commissions rock. And 3, the best companies. I mean, the best. We don't have to be out there wondering what company is going to be the next Microsoft. We're going to be the next Google, going to be the next Priceline. We can trade the best companies right now, no matter if they're 500 a share, 600 a share, 800 a share, 400 a share. It's all in the realm. And there's all kinds of other benefits too. I mean, the fact that Wi-Fi is almost everywhere. You can do this from almost anywhere. But those are benefits just in trading in general today. But this is really, really killer. And I hope this is shed a little light on what's possible for you. So hope this information finds you well and you get a lot out of it.